what you said. I'm talking to you, my father. You told me you considered me dead. And that's when I lost my soul. Yeah, I burned out too soon. 'Cause nothing even matters anymore. I just miss her. And damn, I miss you. Okay, let's see what we are doing here. I think we're on chapter like 19. 18. Man, I jumped the gun. Down by the chapter 18. Do you remember what we read? I'm talking to you, my TikTok follower. Okay, chapter. Come on. That's my fucking favorite thing in the world. Hey, are we dense or frozen? Okay. Okay. Cool. All right, we're ready to fucking cook. Here we go. Ooh, step one. Take your shoes off. Chapter 18. Hudson. You're late, Chase stated as he opened the front door. Zoom. Hudson. You're late, Chase stated as he opened his front door, clear amusement in his voice. I had an unexpected visitor in my chambers today. He lifted his eyebrows and ushered me in. Do I want to know? His sudden appearance should be telling us as his... I want to know? His sudden appearance should be telling as to his plans. You're shitting me, Jacob Jones? In the flesh, he decided to make himself at home. Did you contact security or the police? I trailed behind my buddy. We're burping out here. Okay. Trailed behind my buddy. We usually spent time in his man cave, which rivaled mine with a huge bar, entertainment center, and the half-dozen pinball machines he'd collected over the years. Instead, he led me to a part of the house I'd never seen. And spoil the fun? Why would I do that? Because there are strict rules regarding judicial... Oh my god, I struggle with that word. Judicial. Do that. Because there are strict rules regarding judicial ethics, for one thing. Do that. Because there are strict rules regarding judicial ethics, for one thing. My snort brought a laugh. I'm here with other members of our poker game to discuss going off the books and dealing with violent predators in less than a judicial manner. Are you fucking kidding me? Chase. Fucking kidding me? Chase shook his head. Fucking kidding me? Chase shook his head, still laughing, as he led me into what I would describe as a military operations center. There were a half-dozen high-powered computers and high-dollar printers in one section. In another were monitors much like I'd installed, highlighting every inch of his expansive property. Still, in another was a massive whiteboard with several leather chairs surrounding it. Then there was other equipment, including various communication systems, from satellite to video conferencing. What he'd set up inside his house was a war room for a military operation, The only indication the oversized space was a home, which had to be at minimum 30 by 30 in dimension, was the bar in the corner. Those would be my dogs. I wonder what we're barking at. Hopefully something good. We'll give it a sec. We'll get them. Let me guess. A squirrel walked by a tree and he wants nothing to do with that business. That's usually the main operations. Okay. Nova, my love. Thank you. No, she don't care. She does not care at all. I'm gonna get my water while she's rounding that up. BRB. Down by the river. Do you remember? Quit barking, my love. What you said. I'm talking to you, my father. You told me you considered me dead. That's when I lost my soul. I can't sing. Bar in the corner. Okay. Bar in the corner. I burned out too soon. But nothing even matters. I can't find my spot anymore. Fuck. There it is. Nope. In the corner. There it is. Bar in the corner. I stood in the doorway. Slowly. Nope. Bar in the corner. I stood in the doorway, shifting a slow gaze from one corner of the operations. I added a whole word. Bar in the corner. I stood in the doorway, shifting a slow gaze from one corner of operations to another. I never fully appreciated the... Okay, fuck. Operations to another. Operations to another. I never fully appreciated the fact you enjoy playing with fire. Here, I thought... Oopsies. With fire. Here I thought you were Mr. Goody Two-Shoes. Kendrick laughed first. Then you truly don't... Oopsies. It's Kendrick. I forgot Kendrick is... Kendrick. Oh yeah, that's right. Kendrick laughed first. Then you truly don't know what he's capable of, Chase. He's like a volcano under that cool exterior. Oops. He's like a volcano under that cool exterior. I guess I don't know you. Cool exterior. I guess I don't know you, he confirmed. However, I don't think being a volcano is a bad attribute to have. Make yourself a drink. At this point, I think we all need one. He wasn't wrong. While Jacob's visit had been unexpected, it certainly had pushed me further into accepting what Raven Intel was prepared to do to save fuck. Unexpected. It certainly had pushed me further into accepting what Raven Intel was prepared to do. Unexpected. It certainly had pushed me further into accepting what Raven Intel was prepared to do that could save lives. Did you hear about the juror? I asked. I heard he was on the news. Okay, fuck, man. My characters are warming up. I asked. I heard the news on the way over, Kendrick groaned. Terrible thing, but exactly what we anticipated. It certainly didn't take the bastard long, Chase rolled his eyes. How long has he been out? Days? It doesn't take them long to begin acting on their need for revenge, I gritted out. Did the press connect the dots? Kendrick shook his head. Not yet, but with the notoriety Jones's release has received, they will soon. Before you ask, Jones is being brought in for questioning. That much I heard from a buddy of mine on the police department. Nothing will stick. There was no evidence found. There won't be. I allowed the information to sink in. If that's the... And we're barking again. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what are we barking at? Nova! Nova, my love. Hey. 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 You. Shush. you. Bro, they're on one today. I'm unsure what they guard the house from, but they sure guard the shit out of it. Information to sink in. If that goddamn list hadn't been leaked, maybe the juror would still be alive. Information to sink in. If that goddamn list hadn't been leaked, maybe the juror would still be alive, Chase muttered, swearing under his breath. What the fuck? Maverick huffed. Are you kidding me? No, the DA admitted that himself. There's a mole in his operation that needs to be found. Ratata, ratata, ratata. Let me go look at Maverick real quick. Yeah. Okay. The DA admitted that himself. Kidding me? Kidding me? No, the DA admitted that himself. There's a mole in his operation that needs to be found. Malcolm, what's up? All right, mean and matter of fact. To be found. Why don't you let me see what I can find? Gabriel suggested from across the room. I can fly under the radar given my position as a judge. Good, I told him. At this point, I could use all the help I could get if I wanted to try to send Jones back to prison. Now, what happened today? He continued. Our boy here, oops, it's Chase, my boy Chase. Continued. Our boy here had a visit from the Undertaker and decided to keep him on a short leash instead of contacting the police. Chase headed to one of the computers while I moved toward the bar. Toward the bar. What the fuck did he want? Kendrick pushed. To warn me. I glanced at Maverick, who was hiding a grin behind his glass of scotch. Let's go down there. We are reading No Hero from Piper Stone. It is going to be a series, and we are in book 1. We're developing a team of people getting ready to do some cool things to some bad guys. Welcome, by the way. Okay, we got Kendrick, and hold on. Okay, where was I? Glass of scotch. Scotch. You mean threaten, Gabriel corrected. He did so eloquently, at least for a cockroach. I poured a double shot of whiskey as I mulled over what, if anything of real substance, Jones had said during his visit. Okay, man. We'll get cooking here in a second. Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. He said during his... I am curious. Why hone in on you? I would think the prosecuting attorney or the witness you're found... Oh, fuck. On you. I would think the prosecuting attorney or the witness you're so fond of would be tops on his agenda, Kendrick asked, chiding me just as I turned away from the bar. Away from the bar. I have a theory he was sent by James Worthington. I glanced at Maverick, lifting my eyebrows. Well, shit, Chase said. Good thought. And we scroll. What? Okay. Maverick, once again. I just have to refresh my brain for these voices. The boys only get together every so often so far. Maverick is his excited friend. Good thought. Good thought. Fascinating, and I bet you're right. Killing a judge would bring the level of heat down that could expose Worthington's corruption. Plus, given our escapade last night, all the evil parties involved will likely... I added a whole word. Last night? All the evil parties involved likely wanted a confirmation you've crossed the line. Maverick stated in a way... Okay. Crossed the line. Maverick stated in a way that had both Gabriel and Kendrick confused. Gabriel huffed. Okay, Huffy boy. Worthington has been lording his authority over everyone the last few years. Time to dump his ass in a vat of acid. However, do one of the three of you want to fill Kendrick and me in on what the fuck you two are cooking up over there? You're not sharing everything. Are you going to tell them, or should I? Chase was having way too much fun with this. And, oh my god. Shostya. Man, we're halfway through the book. I still can't remember. What's wrong with my brain? What's wrong with my brain? Shostya. Way too much fun with this. Way too much fun with this. Valentina Shostya, a.k.a. Jane Smith. The lone witness paid me a visit last night. She was terrified because she'd had several incidents where she felt threatened. By Jones, Kendrick hissed. Likely. I headed toward the bank of computers where Chase was standing. He'd pulled up the crime scene of the juror who'd been murdered. It was an absolute bloodbath. The threats were subtle and with no way to connect him as the person responsible. The mole could be working for Worthington, Chase offered. I half laughed. Likely. Likely. Let me guess. You played a hero, offering to protect this damsel in distress. Kendrick's smile slowly subsided after studying my face. Whoa, dude, my mic stand just made a noise like it was about to explode. Your face. Wow, I'm right. Now, why do I have the feeling she means more to you than just a witness on a case? I swirled my drink. The question had been swimming around in my mind for 2 hours since I'd known the others would pepper me with questions. She's a woman who doesn't deserve to live her life in complete fear of a monster. She's a single mother with an addict. She's a single mother with an addict as the child's father. Jones sent 4 of his goons to one of 2 places she works. I was there to keep her safe in case they chose to go through with their plans of kidnapping and killing her. This shit's just getting better and better, Kendrick said, exhaling. Gabriel half laughed. What in God's name did you do to those goons? Maverick and I simply provided the 4 of them with a lesson in how to handle a woman. I laughed, seeing their faces. Another moment of being underestimated. They should know me better than anyone. Don't look so shocked, Chase suggested. He did what he needed to do. If it had been me, I might have made an entirely different decision. One more permanent. Then we'd have Delgado on our doorsteps. You left them alive. Oh, wow. Where'd that accent come from? On our doorsteps. You left them alive, Kendrick piped in. Trust me, Maverick answered for both of us. They won't be on the street any time with the number of broken bones they received. Amazing, Gabriel muttered. Did they know the illustrious identities of their assailants? I slowly shook my head as I tipped my head toward Maverick. I could tell by his expression he wasn't concerned in the least about our task the night before. Evidently, they suspected is the word. Evidently, they suspected, and by Jones's visit today, he knows, Kendrick suggested. Keep in mind he might also suspect that you're protecting the witness. Not necessarily, Chase mentioned. Chase mentioned, pointing toward the photograph of the murder scene. In talking with the detective in charge of the case involving the juror's murder, the police had been contacted regarding threats. They're almost identical to the ones Miss Sostya. That's right. That's right. Sostya. Yeah. Okay. Threats. They are almost identical to the ones Miss Sostya received. Jones could be going down a list one by one, deciding to do nothing more than to remind the good judge he was a man of the law. Okay. Man of the law. Man of the law. Were the other jurors, attorneys, and assailants threatened? Maverick asked. None up to this point. Case locked eyes with mine. Maybe they issue a warning just before a kill, I suggested. The killing of the juror was likely based on retaliation and a warning. Now, the others should have adequate understanding their lives could be in jeopardy. Kendrick had a point. A single kill goes a long way. You know that. True enough. Or it's possible Jacob and his goons have yet to deliver. Why can't I say to deliver? Or it's possible Jacob and his goons have yet to deliver the various warnings. Gabriel walked closer, staring at the series of photographs. All right, we got this. Photographs. Jesus Christ. And at this point, what? Do not offer me advertisements midstream. Disgusting work, Streamlabs. Graphs. Okay. Jesus Christ. And at this point, with no evidence Jones and his crew are involved, he certainly can't be implicated. No, I corroborated. That's what they're counting on. Plus, with James Worthington on the take, he would ensure an arrest warrant isn't issued. The single person who could still put Jones behind bars is Valentina Sostya. Warrant isn't issued. The single person who could put Jones behind bars is Valentina Sostya. The problem is that I've yet to be provided with paperwork on the supposed issue with the case itself. What if there is none? Gabriel asked. My guess is you're right. Then you need help to keep her alive until the DA gets a goddamn backbone, Maverick snapped. I shook my head. He won't. He also warned me not to try anything. Which is the reason we're all here, gentlemen, Chase reminded us. All of you know Delgado and his reputation. He doesn't care who his enemies are. Assuming he's as pissed off as Jacob Jones, there will be more dead bodies washing up on the shore or people simply disappearing. But, I said thoughtfully, what if Chase mentioned about the shipment? Oopsies. Thoughtfully. If what Chase mentioned about the shipment coming into port in the near future is true, he'll need to be careful not to draw unnecessary attention. Agreed, Kendrick said, nodding. I'd been around Chase long enough to know when he was hiding something or using information as a grandstanding method of cheating at poker. With no cards and no bag of chains. Scroll. Of cheating at poker. With no cards and no bag of change tossed on the scarred table he used for game night, I sensed whatever was on his mind he knew would annoy me even further. Spit it out, Chase. That's why you're a damn good judge. Nothing gets by you, he teased. But his uncomfortableness continued. Keep going, I pressed. After doing some digging, I found some valuable information. You already knew Bruno was a drug addict, which is partially the reason he has nothing to do with his daughter, Bella. For some reason, an entirely different emotion popped to the surface. I was noted for being level-headed, Maybe I was reacting after hearing the goons' plans on what they wanted to do with her, but I snapped. Please tell me you're not trying to insinuate Valentina is a part of this? Chase scrubbed his jaw. As with every case, all sides need to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb. You know that better than anyone, Hudson. While he was correct, they didn't know Valentina. She was truly innocent in all of this. Still furious, I took a deep breath, realizing what an ass I'd just been. The men Jones hired had a bag full of weapons and rope. I overheard them talking about their plans for her. From what I heard, they planned on killing her, but only after they used her body, over and over again. That will never happen. That will never happen. That will never happen. The room was bristling with tension. Chase sucked in and held his breath. When he released it, he whistled. I'm sorry, man. I really am. I wasn't insinuating anything. Her ex, Bruno Carvelli, is a bad dude. From New York. Is a bad dude. From New York, as is Miss Sostya. Is a bad dude. From New York, as is Miss Sostya. And from what I can tell, he was a foot soldier for the Sanchez cartel while there. I have no idea how Valentina got hooked up with him, but she ended up following him to Miami. There are a few reports he had a few legit jobs, including as a yacht salesman, not making bad money either. I didn't find much on their relationship, except that she filed a police report a few years ago. What for? Kendrick asked. Abuse. He threw her across the room and beat her pretty badly. There was a restraining order, which he violated at least once. Then he disappeared for like 2 years. There's no record of him. She was pregnant. I'd already seen that coming. Chase looked at me with a sense of sadness in his eyes, which was entirely out of place. So he's an asshole, and she learned the hard way to keep him out of her life. Well, that might be impossible. Oops. Entirely out of place. Entirely out of place. So he's an asshole, and she learned the hard way to keep him out of her life. Well, that might be impossible, he added. Bruno is working for Delgado. In talking with a trustworthy snitch, that's something I learned started only Working for Delgado. Working for Delgado. In talking with a trustworthy snitch, that's something I learned started only in the last couple of months. The coincidences... Oops. Couple of months. The coincidence wasn't something I bought. Fascinating. Very much so. Fascinating. Very much so. It might not mean anything, but I thought you should know. At least she has full custody of Bella. If he believed that under any circumstances Valentina had used me, that was a burp. Custody of Bella. If he believed that under any circumstances Valentina had used me, that was crap. However, if there was one thing I knew about men who abused women, it was that they felt possessive, especially since the child was his. It was entirely possible, at some point, he'd want her back. Noted. There was a strange sense of tension in the room, something we'd almost never experienced in the years we'd been friends. Perhaps that was because what we were doing was entirely different. Where's this shipment coming from? Maverick decided to be the one who broke the tension. Chase glanced toward Maverick. From what we know right now, Intel provided us with credible information Delgado has plans on hijacking a ship bound for Cuba. Now, none of you heard this, very top secret, but the DEA just got the word that Delgado developed a hit list of his enemies. How the fuck did the DEA... Oh my god, change the words. Mees. How the fuck did the DEA manage that? My buddy's grin. My buddy's grin as he glanced at me was positively evil. People talk. We listen. That's why Jones was released, I mused. What do you want to do about Delgado's enemies? I mused. What do you want to do? Wow, what do you want to bet? I mused. What do you want to bet Delgado's enemies are Worthington's as well? I mused. What do you want to bet Delgado's enemies are Worthington's as well? Let's just say the conclusion has been mentioned by more than one DEA officer. Chase raised his eyebrows. Unless Worthington is brought down, Delgado gets a free pass. My words seemed to hit home with everyone. But your team is all fuck, why am I saying it weird? But your team is all over it, Kendrick said to Chase. Chase raked his hand through his long hair, appearing as frustrated as we all felt. Yeah, but as you might imagine, we've had an uphill battle, and with Worthington on the take, it's only going to get steeper. We need to get a copy of this list. We need to get a copy of this hit list. Oh, wrong character, dude. We need to get a copy of this hit list. Maverick was right. I think we need to go under the assumption Worthington made the list. Gabriel, Jesus. Made the list. Gabriel was serious. I suggest you consider taking wrong person. Yes. Hey, thank you for the follow. Yes. Watching me struggle through characters right now. Yes. I suggest you consider taking Valentina to the oh, it's fucking the wrong character again. I suggest you consider taking Valentina and Bella to the safe house I mentioned. We'll handle this from here. While I appreciated Chase's suggestion and willingness to get his hands dirty, that wasn't going to happen. Not a chance in hell. Chase chuckled. I figured you'd say that. Are we really talking about doing this? And I'm not entirely certain what this is. Kendrick was stating what we'd all been thinking, although I had my answer. I wanted Jacob Jones to suffer. Admitting it even to myself wasn't as difficult as I'd suspected. We're here to finalize the creation of Raven Intel. Chase locked eyes with each one of us before continuing. I'd love to take down the Attorney General, if possible. My dog is barking again for the third time this hour. Golly. Brr. Tiny barks. We're continuing. I'd love to take down the Attorney General, if possible, Gabriel admitted. Gabriel admitted. We were certainly all in agreement with that. I have some ideas on how to do that, I told him. Let me show you what I've managed to put together so far. Then you tell me where we're going with this. Chase was more excited than some kid in a candy store. Why not? Kendrick said. We all have to lose. Oh, all we have to do. Kendrick said. All we have to lose is our careers. And our morals, Gabriel added. I don't know about you, but I lost those years ago. Maverick had the same grin on his face as he had the night before. He was loving this. Over the next 30 minutes, he proceeded to talk about the loudest vehicle driving by my place, interrupting my recording, so we're just going to chill for a second. My God, is it a spaceship? Is it a spaceship that just runs on loudspeakers? Okay. Loving this. Over the next 30 minutes, he proceeded to talk about the communications and security equipment he'd amassed, and his ability to access information about almost anyone in the world. In addition, he'd briefly spoken privately to several people he believed were experts in their respective fields. He also presented pictures of the safe house he'd mentioned to me. In addition, I know a guy I apprehended a while earlier in my... Okay, fuck. To me. In addition, I know a guy I apprehended while early in my career. Fuck. To me. In addition, I know a guy I apprehended while early in my career. Chase concluded. Mikey Cat... Oh my god. My brain? Karnovich. He's concluded. Mikey Karnovich was undoubtedly the best thief I'd ever hunted. He's concluded. Mikey Karnovich was undoubtedly the best thief I've ever hunted. He was responsible for stealing millions of dollars of priceless art and jewelry during his illustrious career. After serving his time, he became a consultant for a couple of corporations, then was lured by the government as an expertise on Then he was lured by the government as an expertise on building security. I laughed. Just in case we need training on breaking and entering? I asked. Exactly. What about your buddy you served with in the Marines? What was his name? Jack Barker? Wasn't he an explosive expert? Nodding, I finished off my drink. Yes, he certainly knows his shit. You see what I'm getting at? Chase threw out. We all know people who are experts in different industries who hold a... See what I'm getting at? Chase threw out. We all know people who are experts in different industries who hold specialized skills. How are we going to keep them from turning our activities into the authorities? Did I say that, Saddam? How are we going to keep them from turning our activities into How are we going to keep them from turning our activities into the authorities? Kendrick lifted his eyebrows. We all have a common need. Justice. My answer might seem simplistic, but of the people Chase had mentioned, including Jack, we'd shared conversations much like the one from 2 nights before. I also have a safe house we can use, Gabriel offered. Much like yours, Chase. Not fancy, but off the grid in the mountains of North Carolina. Plus, one of my exes is a former spy who speaks several languages and is currently teaching at the FBI Academy. Maverick laughed. You old dog, you. And here I thought we knew everything about each other. Not everything, I offered. Having a linguist ex-spy on the board would be great, Chase teased. Let's just be clear. If we agree formally to do this, there is no turning back. In the eyes of the law, we will be considered criminals. And any day our form of justice could catch up to us. Criminals. Any day our form of justice could catch up to us. That means extra caution, including hiding our identities online and in person, Maverick said. I've done a lot of research in my books on... What is going on with this dog today? My dog is narrating more words than I am at this point. Maverick said. I've done a lot of Maverick said. Nova Cakes? Thank you. Maverick said. She refuses to be stopped. Maverick said. I've done a lot of research in my books on how assailants and spies are so successful. Then it's your assignment to make us invisible. No footprint, and no hot dogging either. Chase was good at being a leader, although we were definitely all alpha personalities. I can handle that. Maverick studied me as he'd done since I got here. What? I growled. The question remains. What do you want to do with the Undertaker? I had two choices. I could either use the reprehensible thoughts that had lingered in my mind as a weapon, more powerful than holding cold, hard steel in my hand, or I could take the high road, the one I'd taken an oath to protect and serve. The one my father had instilled in me through his fucking book. The one my father had instilled in me through his harsh discipline, carried forward by orders received and followed in the Marines. The choice shouldn't be difficult, but it was. I headed toward the bar for a single refresh. It wasn't that I needed courage or convincing. I'd surprised myself over the last 36 hours and how far I was hitting courage or convincing. I'd surprised myself over the last 36 hours and how far I was willing to go to protect Valentina and her daughter. One last time. We believe in the system. But God, okay. I might sneeze. That one's going to be up in the air for a second. In the system. But God help the man and all those who provided assistance for any and all acts of crime. If the system failed once again, there would be hell to pay. Oh, woo! 23 minutes in the books. That chapter was all dialogue. All dialogue. Chapter 19. Valentina. Doing nothing wasn't like me at all. My energy level was too high to just sit around. Plus, I was a nervous wreck, wringing my hands constantly. The thought of losing Bella hadn't been far from my mind. Neither had Hudson's possessiveness. That had kept my nerves frayed and my hand shaking while I'd flitted around the house like a crack addict. My love of keeping busy only had some to do with working 2 jobs and being a single mom. Oh, my sneeze. You look like a homeless guy. I am a homeless guy, my guy. Got $1? Being a single mom. Let's see. Being a single mom. I'm a single mom, too. Okay, that I kept my nerves shaking while the house like cracked it. Okay. Being a single mom. Being a single mom. My parents had taught me the value of things as a young girl, which meant I'd worked very hard for every accomplishment. I'd had my first job as a babysitter when I was 9 years old. At 17, I lied about my age to work at a bar to make ends meet. Man, sneeze or don't sneeze. Figure it out. Ugh, spring is fucking springing, you know? Make ends meet. While getting straight A's in school and being on the track team, I'd also always had a love of books, so when I had free time, I was usually curled up under a tree finishing a book every few days. Thank God for libraries, as there would have been few days. Thank God for libraries, as there would have been no way to afford my voracious appetite. That's why being inside Hudson's, I changed his name halfway through the book. Cool. Appetite. That's why being inside Hudson's house, with only my sweet daughter as company, kept me on edge. I didn't belong here. As amazing as being with the generous man had been so far, our lives had collided for the wrong reason. Wabam. For the wrong reason. For the wrong reason. I'd managed to clean the kitchen so much. For the wrong reason. I'd managed to clean the kitchen so much you could eat off the floor, and I'd vacuumed every inch of the house. That had taken me all of 2 hours. Shockingly short and surprising. Hudson was extremely neat and organized, just like he'd been in court. While I hated to admit it, I'd spent time in his bedroom. Not time in his bedroom. Not snooping, not exactly, just being near him. I hadn't wanted to admit it to the powerful man before he'd left early that morning, but after what had occurred the night before, I was frightened. Accepting the reality of how I felt was also infuriating. I'd been through a hell of a lot, but I couldn't lose sight of that but I couldn't lose sight that I'd done the right thing. At least with Tim remaining dutifully outside, I'd be able to breathe a little easier. However, the longer Hudson was gone, the more my stomach churned from apprehension, and my heart fluttered with need. Even with the horror facing, I left out a whole word. Even with the horror of facing a new nightmare, he'd managed to awaken the woman deep inside. She'd been searching for a hero. She'd found one. The bedroom was filled with his rich, musky scent, and as silly as it seemed, especially now, the smell comforted me. He'd left me explicit instructions, reminding me not to go outside, including to the gorgeous beach. Of course, that had been the first thing my baby girl had asked to do, fulfilling that I needed, fulfilling that need all by herself. She was just like her mother, stubborn. Her tiny wish had reminded me that she'd been, Her tiny wish had reminded me that she'd been to the beach for fun only once in her life. Once. What kind of mother did that? The kind who worked all the time to pay the bills and put food on the table. But the same mother was very proud that she'd managed to dig herself out of the ugly hole her deadbeat fucking son of a bitch ex-loser. I fucking mixed it up, Food on the table. But the same mother was very proud that she'd managed to dig herself out of the ugly hole her deadbeat fucking son of a bitch loser ex-boyfriend had shoved her into when he'd stolen thousands of dollars from her. The only good thing other than disappearing the man had done in his life, wretched life, let's say all the words, dollars from her. The only good thing other than disappearing the man had done in his wretched life was to donate sperm. That's all I'd call it since the sexual experiences with him had been less than stellar. I'd believed I was in love. Bruno had believed he deserved to fuck me and leave, spending the night with another chick while using money I earned for both to get high. What a fucking fool I'd been. After he'd almost killed me, I'd curled up and died a little bit inside. But I'd refused to allow the bastard to win, leaving my heart locked away while my body had functioned to protect my baby. The horrific few years had all but faded away the very first time Hudson had touched me. I'd come alive, excited for the future. Wasn't that silly? And when he'd kissed me, the sky had exploded in vibrant colors. I pressed my fingers against my lips, taking a few seconds to envision his face and gorgeous body. Delicious. Oh. My foot. Gorgeous body. Gorgeous body. Gorgeous body. After the passion we'd shared the night before, filthy thoughts had flickered on and off in my mind like a nervous light switch. We'd fucked on the washing machine, for God's sake, in mid-cycle. I stifled a giggle. Maybe I should cook dinner as a thank you. Not for the sex, but for all he was doing for me. Saving my life, my sanity, fulfilling my sexual needs. There was little the man couldn't do. Mommy, when can we go home? Bella's little voice pulled me out of a beautiful fantasy. Thankfully, up to this point, she'd been coloring happily. Which yes. Happily. Happily. I was grateful I'd brought the crayons and coloring books with me, when dropping her off at the babysitter's house, but she would soon be getting bored if she hadn't already. Baby girl, think of this as an adventure. We'll go home soon, I promise you. I promise you. I hated promising her something that could turn out to be a lie. At least she was very young, but that didn't mean the tug at my heart was any less anxious. Would you like some milk? She nodded. I poured her a glass, and while I was doing so, I chewed on my bottom lip. No matter what Hudson believed, it wasn't feasible for me to stay away from my 2 jobs for long. The folks at the marketing firm had been lovely in granting me some time off, but their generosity wouldn't extend past a few days. Be careful. Hold the glass with both hands. While the house was utter perfection, with none of her usual things around her, including her sippy cups, her patience would soon grow thin. That's why I'd insisted that I be allowed to head back to my apartment. Everything precious I owned was in that tiny little 900-square-foot box. I leaned against the counter. If I continued biting on my lower lip, I'd consider myself a vampire. My thoughts drifted to knowing he'd injured 4 men last night. At this point, I had to stop thinking about the night before. Whatever happened, I didn't want to learn the details. Mommy, can I play outside? That was fun. There was that question again. I tell you what, when my friend comes home, we'll take a walk on the beach together. Maybe we can build a sandcastle. Would you like that? She clapped her little hands. That would keep her happy for a little while longer. How about a little television? If I could figure out his fancy remote. At least he had a television in the kitchen. I stumbled over that. If I could figure out his fancy remote. At least he had a television in the kitchen so I could keep her under my watchful eye. Okay, Mommy. I checked my watch. It was a little after 4. As soon as I flicked on the television, the local news popped on. My guess was the man never watched anything but the news. While he had a phenomenal book collection, there wasn't a movie to be found. I knew very little about him, my snooping efforts failing miserably. With my mind still on the insanely handsome judge, a news bulletin caught my attention. Without turning up the volume, I stood staring at the screen. Oh my God! A juror from the Jones trial. He was dead. He'd been murdered. Shrinking back, it suddenly felt as if I'd been dropped into a vacuum that was sucking the life out of me. Close to hyperventilating, I had to blink several times to try to stay focused. Everything Hudson had warned me of was true. Jacob Jones was actively killing anyone who'd sought his incarnation. Fuck! Jacob Jones was actively killing anyone who'd sought his incarceration. The sudden noise behind me blasted in my ears, and I jerked around, facing the other direction. What the hell was that? My heart pumping, I tried to figure out what I'd just heard. When the sound echoed throughout the house, I was able to take a deep breath. Someone was at the door. Maybe Tim was telling me he was taking off for the day. Or maybe... Stop. Just fucking stop. Stay right here, Bella. Mommy will be back. Okay. Thank God she usually listened to me. I tried to keep my steps slow and easy until I left the kitchen. I realized I'd left my phone in the living room. That wasn't like me. Then again, I hadn't been myself for days. It was as if a permanent haze had formed over my eyes. This was getting ridiculous. This was getting ridiculous. Tim was right outside. Still, the drill of what Hudson had told me early that morning played out in my mind. I moved into his office heading for the monitor attached to the security system. Not only could I see who was at the front door, I could talk with them if I desired. And if there was an issue, I could press a single button and the police would be called. Since he'd assured me no one just stopped by, and he hadn't ordered anything, by the time I flicked on the camera above the door, my stomach was churning, full of knots. Please let it be Tim. Gone were the grainy videos taken in black and white of the old systems. The camera was in full color, allowing me to see the beautiful woman standing with her arms full of bags. Okay, now I was confused. Her expression was one of impatience. Dressed impeccably in a tailored pantsuit and a beautiful violet blouse, she was certainly stunning and completely out of place. What unnerved me was that Tim hadn't accompanied her to the place. What had unnerved me was that Tim hadn't accompanied her to the door. That either meant he knew her or that he was dead. The ugly thoughts refused to fade. There were female killers, maybe even someone working with the Undertaker. Yes? My single question brought her immediate attention. She was none too happy when she peered directly at the camera. Sostya. The camera. Valentina Sostya? What? She knew my name? Another set of red flags raised. Who are you? My voice held the same irritation hers did. She pulled something from her jacket, holding it up to the camera's lens. A detective from the Miami-Dade Police Department. While her credentials should prove While her credentials should provide me with comfort, Mama hadn't raised the stupid girl. I was well aware of the lengths cartels would go to. I don't know you. My stark answer, My answer was stark, and just as annoyed as she seemed to be. She pulled her credentials away, clearly more aggravated than before. When she adjusted the bags in her arms, I realized they were from different clothing stores. I know you don't know me, Valentina, but Hudson should have called you to let you know I was coming. He asked me a favor. He asked me for a huge favor. Huge. Can I come in? Where's the other officer? She was taken aback by my question, the camera highlighting her smirk. Wheatley, what up, Bubba? He's here. But where? I need to confirm your visit with Hudson. Stay right there. If you don't, I'll call the police. I was aware she was saying something when I walked away, jogging into the living room to grab my phone. Is that you who just fucking honked? Did you do a beep? I'm not in there. I'm in the house. What you doing, Bubba? What you doing? What you doing? Chilling? How come you're not golfing? That's the only thing I looked at when I saw the forecast today. I was like, today looks like a fucking golf day. God. Grab my phone. Okay. To grab me a phone. By the way, was that saying I should peer? Should I peer out the window? Am I to peer out my window? 'Cause I'll fucking do it. Living room to grab my phone. Grab my phone. Shit. He'd tried to call twice. I was surprised he hadn't sent a black and white instead. What? Need a hug? Oh, Wheaties. I'll come outside. We chillin'. Hey, chat, have fun looking at nothing for a while. Alright. Fucking made it. Let's see where my next stopping point is. Let's see if this fucking works. Okay. Where am I at?
Black and white instead.
Oh yeah, we just started. 1, 2, 3. Three pages. Okay. It's not bad. Mm.
Black and white. Called twice.
I was surprised he hadn't sent a black and white instead, bursting into the house to look for the bad guy. Thankfully, he'd also texted, although he was certainly frustrated with me. Yes.
Traded with me.
Where the hell are you? I had to call the officer to ensure you were safe. Anyway, I wanted you to know I sent a detective I've worked with over the years to see you. She's doing me a favor. You can trust her. Her name is Camille Morgan. As I returned to his office, I did a quick little text in return. Sorry, phone in the other room. She's here. I didn't bother asking why in the hell she'd been sent. Whoopsies.
Sent.
Wasn't Tim enough security? I did check out the window. Fuck.
Enough security?
I did a check out the window. Tim's car was still parked on the street, but there was no sign of him. Even though, man, I'm thinking about golf. That's where I'm going today.
Sign of him.
Even though the name on her badge was the same?
Sign of him.
Even though the name on her badge was the same, I had no intention of opening the door unarmed. That's why I grabbed the first thing that I thought would protect me and my little girl, a bronze statue. When I opened the door, I sensed she was about ready to walk away. She spun around, her eyes opening wide after noticing what I'd had in my hand. As if by her own instinct, she shifted her jacket toward her hip, revealing her weapon in a shoulder holster. Not to be rude, but if this is a game of rock, paper, scissors, I'll win. I wasn't certain whether to I love this lady, by the way.
I'll win.
I wasn't certain whether to scratch the woman's eyes out or feel as if she and I could be best buddies. At least her caustic words were some that could have come from my own mouth. I'm sorry, but I don't trust anyone. Tim suddenly appeared.
Trust anyone.
Tim suddenly appeared, waving as if saying goodbye. Oopsies.
Saying goodbye.
I can tell. She looked me up and down before glancing past my shoulder. Can I come in now, or should we both just wait until Hudson gets home? There was a distinct air of familiarity about how she knew Hudson. Why was it that I had an instant twinge of jealousy? Maybe because I was in the same skirt that I'd worn to work. I had a barbecue.
Worn to work.
I had a barbecue sauce stain on the front. I was also wearing one of his t-shirts, which will
Worn to work.
I had a barbecue sauce stain on the front. I was also wearing one of his t-shirts, which was woefully too big, enough that it could be a dress on me. While I'd had a shower, I knew my hair was wild given the lack of mousse and hairspray. And forget about makeup. She was perfect in every way, not a hair out of place, even in the horrific humidity. As she adjusted the bags in her arms again, I realized I'd been staring at her. The once-over she gave me did nothing for my self-esteem. Sure, come in. As soon as she stepped inside, I had 2 seconds to return the statue to the foyer table before she dumped the bags in my arms. What's this? Hudson asked me to purchase a few things for you. I'm sorry, I thought he'd let you know I was coming. 11:40 at Hickory. Fuck yeah, dog. Fuck yeah, I'll be there. What time is it? 10:23. Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect.
Let you know I was coming.
Hell yeah. Dog, where the fuck are my golf clubs? Dude, I got 3D printed tees. Bro, about to get some holes in ones.
Let you know I was coming.
Okay.
Let you know I was.
God, I'm fucking just stoked now. I'm just stoked. Couldn't be more excited.
Let you know I was coming.
I left my phone in another room. I don't understand. I'm not destitute. I glanced at the bags, more confused than anything. She shrugged. You'll need to ask him. He called in a favor. He had one left in his bag of tricks. There was more between them than just familiarity or a working relationship. Who was I to ask or care? I certainly didn't have a hold on Hudson. Well, he's a very generous man. Hopefully this wasn't too much trouble. I certainly didn't ask him to purchase anything for me. I can take care of myself. Her features softened as if she knew she was being a bitch to a stranger. I'm sorry. That was very rude of me. Hudson and I go way back, and it's not always been pleasurable. Let's start this over. I'm Detective Camille Morgan. Now I was the one juggling our clothes. Nope.
Camille Morgan.
Now I was the one juggling the clothes. But I managed to put my hand out. The handshake as firm as I could make it, given the continued level of tension. So you said, Valentina's... Oh, fuck. Sasha. So you said, Valentina Sasha, waitress and office manager, witness to a heinous crime, now threatened by the man who was allowed to walk the streets again by someone in law enforcement who fucked up. She certainly hadn't
Stop.
She certainly hadn't expected my sharp and to-the-point introduction. As soon as the words settled in, her face, which I thought would never show any other expression but disdain, cracked into a smile. You're right. Some corporate creep let a monster slip into the darkness. At least in my opinion. I can see why Hudson likes you.
My opinion.
I can see why Hudson likes you. I don't know about that. Was I fishing? You bet I was. Let's just say he's not known for... Let's just say he's not known for taking in... strays? Sighing, she nodded as if convincing herself of something. I guess I deserved that. No, you didn't. Oh...
You didn't.
Yes, I did. Okay, you did. We both laughed. Softening, I shook my head. You didn't need to do this. We're going by my apartment later to get my things. After that, I don't know what to expect any longer. I lowered the bags to the floor, shocked that the store... Oopsies, fuck.
Any longer.
I lowered the bags to the floor, shocked at the stores she'd selected. They certainly weren't the ones I could shop in. This girl was down with TJ Maxx. I couldn't even remember the last time I'd purchased anything new. While he might believe I'd say otherwise, he will do everything in his power to protect you, which is why you won't be going alone or with your daughter. He's very concerned about your welfare. I don't understand. Oh, what's up, Schultz? MK Schultz in the house.
Understand.
I'm your babysitter for the evening. She rolled her eyes. Don't look so shocked. I raised my younger sister all by myself. Then she had a daughter, and we were a happy family for a little while. The laughter in her eyes faded, and the inflection in her voice indicated there was a story there. Right now, I just didn't care. However, that was a long time ago. However, that was a very long time ago. Anyway, believe it or not, I'm fuck.
Some time ago.
Anyway, believe it or not, I'm very good with children. I even brought a book I thought she might like me to read. Hudson mentioned how old your daughter was. I had a book saved from a long time ago. a favorite. Whatever the memory, I could tell it was painful. We all had them. Maybe my experience had hardened me. Or maybe I was tired of playing the victim. Still, I heard my mother's voice in my head telling me to be nice. Well, I very much appreciate you going out of your way. I'm not used to anyone being in my corner. If you ask me, I think he might be taking you out on a dinner date. Thankfully, he seemed to know your size. I bought a little of everything. The news was so unexpected, I burst into laughter. Well, that's unexpected. I will pay you back. It might take me a little while, but I promise I will. When she flipped out a black credit card, I gasped. It's his. No, I don't regularly go around stealing a man's black credit cards. I stopped by his office, and when he said the sky was the limit, I might have taken him up on that. She placed it on the entrance table. She was as uncomfortable around me as I was with her. You're kidding me. I might be considered a bitch to just about everyone who knows me, but I can tell you this. I never kid about men or money. Sounds like an excellent mantra. On that note, why don't we grab some wine? Right now, I could really use some. You know what? I'd love some. Her entire face had brightened. Bella will need to meet you. Don't worry, in contrast to her mother, she loves everyone.
Loves everyone.
She'll soon learn.
Loves everyone.
She'll soon learn, won't she? Before I headed toward the kitchen, she snagged my arm. I know this isn't my place, and you're in a tough position. I have no idea what I'd do if some twisted...
Tough position.
I have no idea what I'd do if some twisted fuck eager to come out... Fuck.
Tough position.
I have no idea what I'd do if I had some twisted fuck eager to come after me. I also can't believe I'm saying this after what happened the other... Fuck!
Me.
I also can't believe I'm saying this after what happened, other than I could be softening in my old age. But you can trust Hudson. She shook her head as some memory plagued her. Are you saying you don't? I'm saying he's a Marine. He knows what he's doing. The story between them was becoming more interesting. He told me he was former military. I think, fuck.
Military.
I think he believed I was doubting his ability to keep me alive. Camille gave me another scrutinizing look, but for an entirely different reason than before. Let me give you a word of advice. Again, not my place, but rules and boundaries never stopped me before. I'm not saying anything against Hudson. He's an incredible judge. Very honest, very fair. Sometimes too fair, allowing the letter of the law to interfere with what's right and just. What you see is truly what you get, but don't allow yourself to get too close to him. Is that so? She nodded. He has a very thick plate of armor surrounding himself, and there are no tools that you can use to pry the protective gear away from him. Did I stumble on that?
And there are no tools that you can use to pry the protective gear.
Yeah, I did.
She nodded.
He has a very thick plate of armor surrounding him, and there are no tools that you can use to pry the protective gear away from him. Does that mean you've tried? Her smile opal, that's a new word.
You've tried?
Her smile also represented a memory. We have history, but not like what you think. I've simply seen his aloof behavior in action, and it's highly annoying.
Not like what you think.
I've simply seen his aloof behavior in action, and it's highly annoying. Hudson isn't the forever kind. Then what kind is he? He's the kind of man that will draw you in, then fail to deliver. Yep.
Fail to deliver.
In doing so, he'll break your heart. That was a good one. All right.